Okay, everyone. I just want to follow up on the next generation security conversations we've been having. And this architecture, I think, is really powerful because it focuses on the endpoint side of the continuum. And as many of you have talked about with me, these endpoints here is how I like to look at this. So we all have, our Office 365, Dropbox, Box, Slack. We have people working from home, and we have within our corporate environment or co-location environment, we've got endpoints at the firewalls, the switches. We have potentially Citrix or some multi-user environment like VMware, and then we have the server endpoints as well, plus our endpoints that are either in AWS or Azure. And we have endpoints that if we have an e-commerce or some type of a sophisticated web app, or just whether we're putting our assets up there, we're securing these endpoints. So the endpoints are prolific, they're everywhere. And so how do we solve for this and next generation threats? And some of the next generation threats that I talk about is paying attention to these red O's here. These are the endpoints. And how do we deal with it from an AI and a machine learning perspective? How do we deal with it from an account takeover, from a business email compromise? I mean, anytime there's access credential problems, compromises to these SaaS applications, it puts the business at risk. Anytime there's credential problems within 365, whether it's email compromise or credential theft, it can be related to access control and identity. But ultimately, I want to talk about this as a problem set, because as I talk through this with you, this is the way that I see it, is that ultimately we need to have some strategy that's related to a single pane of glass, which is what this box is here. And funny enough, we don't want to think of it as a single pane in the ass. And I don't actually believe that there's such a thing as single pane of glass. But I would say limited security tooling. Can we at least agree on that? Can we at least agree on there's a smaller number of security consoles we're logging into? And this has got to be how we bend both our cost curves, our maintenance curves, and our management and threat protection. We've got to have a smallest number of panes of glass. And so there are tools to do that. And I want you to be able to see this, because as things happen in Azure, you got to be able to block it. That's what that red X is. We got to be able to take action. And then you got to be able to have your single management console ding that something just happened, either a lateral problem here or a hit on the web application firewall, whatever it may be, is that a light goes off. If something happens, a compromise at a Box or Dropbox or Workday, you have a light that goes off on your security consoles. If you have something happen down here with a home user working from home, a light goes off. If you have 365, a light goes off. So you can see the pattern that's emerging. And essentially, we want to also be able to consolidate logs across the enterprise. And I'm divorcing blocking and taking action on something from watching the logs. Logs is equivalent to what I call compliance forensics. It's historical. It's who done it. It's Sherlock Holmes. The X's are taking action now, but we can't ignore the logs, because the logs are part of our security ops. They're part of our security operations, but I like to break it into two buckets. And then how, with our security ops, are we dealing with response, recovery, and remediation? The 3 R's. We either got to go to the hospital and fix something, or we need emergency response from the perceived threat, metaphorically speaking, and a police officer. That's why the car. So as you look at this problem set, this is the way I look at the world, and the way I think you should look at the world. And I have some solution sets based on what you've invested in that make sense, that you can start to layer this in and start to create something that's more governed, more tightened up, and that gives you the flexibility to operate in this more open world. So apply down below if you'd like to talk to me and my team further about this and get into more of the details around this problem set. Just punch the apply button, put in some details, and it'll ding me and you can get on my calendar. Have a great day.